Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a short tutorial video on how to use these beautiful jams in my toolbox that I can just not recommend enough to get yourself. If you don't have a black roll and if you don't have a fascia ball, don't you worry, you can also use a bigger water bottle, or a tennis ball or a golf ball, something like that. And if you don't have that either, then just go to the shop or go online and order yourself one like that, because it will benefit you in your life. I'm 100% sure, and I will promise. Yeah, oftentimes we get these tools, or maybe you even have one at home already, and then it's never been used really, because I mean, okay, yeah, how would you know how to use it really? There's so many ways in using this. You can't really do anything wrong, but I've been playing around with this for quite a while, and I can just show you my ways of handling this thing in order to really have some positive impact on my body, on my fascia system, the whole unit. It helps to regenerate our tissues, to drain lymphatic fluids, to help the regeneration process after sports, or also to prepare our body pre-sportive activities. So there's one thing that I always share before even going into the whole rolling thing, and that's opening up our plantar fascia, our foot, our sole of the feet. So for this one, grab the fascia ball or a tennis ball, whatever you got, and then come into standing. Place your feet hip width apart. Close your eyes and then take a breath in, lift your arms all the way up overhead, and then on the exhale, just slowly and gently bow down into a forward fold and let your hands just come down wherever they land. So there's no forcing. It's more like a kind of screenshot, a kind of checking in where you're at today, and feeling into the backs of your legs. Noticing how far your hands actually can come to the floor, or how far they're away. Checking in left, right. And saving this information for now, so you can recall that afterwards. And from here, roll all the way back up into standing. And now we'll start on our right foot. So we'll start to roll our right foot. So bring all the weight onto your left, and then roll that ball from the big toe all the way back to the heel, and then towards the second toe, back to the heel, to the third toe, and just like that, like a fan shape. And almost think of it like you are ironing your sole of the foot. Yeah, we're always on our feet, right? But when do we ever really give them some love, some attention? It's like you would think when you hurt your toe, you'd be like, oh, it's just a toe. But then you realize, damn, it kind of really infects me on a daily basis, because I need my toes. They all have a reason why they're there, and they help us move forward. So whenever we have something down there, then we realize, oh damn, like, yeah, thanks foot for always taking such good care of me. So now we're gonna take good care of you. And you might find some little points here, maybe in the middle, around the inner arch between the big toe and the heel. You can either stay there and kind of like give it a little pressure here, or you could go for some small little movements to kind of roll it out, and yeah, just explore that. But we kind of want to just release the tension down there, because it actually has a real big impact on the backs of our calf muscles, the backs of our thighs, and then from there, connective tissue, right? That's what it's called, fascia tissue. It connects all the way to our lumbar fascia and goes all the way up to our head. So by just opening up the soles of our feet every once in a while, best like every day, of course, we can have a releasing impact on the whole rest of our body. And it's just amazing what you can find down there. And also actually when you think of different traditions like Chinese medicine, we've got foot reflexology, right? So in foot reflexology, there is the whole human body kind of drawn on the sole of our foot. So usually what we do is we press different points. There's different areas, there's our whole organs, our bones, our head, our fingers, our toes, all of that, to kind of, we pressure it, we give some pressure on it in order to stimulate it. So by doing that, you're kind of like giving yourself a foot reflexology therapy, and you are gonna save a lot of money. All right, we'll just do that a few more times so you can even go a little bit faster. Make sure you also got the heel here. But this is just something that I want to show you and I want you to feel. And then we move on and we'll get to the basics. All right, a few more rounds. Give it all. And then, all right, so let's try it out. Put the ball to the side for just a moment and then stand back just like you did a minute ago. Feet hip width apart. Take a breath in, reach your arms all the way up overhead, and then dive your way down into a forward fold. And then just again recapture that feeling that you had before where you took that screenshot, and then just feel what has changed. So we've done the right side of our body just now. So how, can you feel a difference? That's the question. Is there maybe less tension on the right side? Can you maybe even see that your right arm, your right hand goes further down now just because we did this 1 minute of rolling around here? If you can't find any difference just now, that just means you haven't done it strongly enough, or maybe it was too short of a time. So believe me, it really works and it's just amazing. I feel like we should do the other side because otherwise we're uneven. So just shortly grab the ball, roll your left foot, and we'll do the other things just on one side so you can just get a hang of the different techniques that I usually use in order to get to the spots of our bodies that usually are tight and love to be rolled out without tensing up the whole rest of our body, because that's also not something that we want, right? That we try to release some parts of our body, but at the same time we're kind of tensing up the rest because it's like so hard to do. So, all right, I think that should do. So there is aliveness in the soles of our feet now, and now we come down to the floor. So for the first one, we want to do the front parts of our shins, and I found it really nice to just kneel on it like that, and then place the hands all the way in front, point your toes, and then roll all the way up and down, and it's along the tibia bone, that shin bone here, towards the side where you want to be, and you'll feel it. I mean, it's kind of, whenever it's a little bit uncomfortable, but at the same time you would say that's kind of a good pain, then you're right. All right, so here we got our dorsal and extensors, the muscles here that help us lift the foot to actually take a step. And if you feel like, I can't really get there, you can also do one side at a time and just lean on, and usually for that I cross my legs. Then you just go here on the side. If you've done that, you can also do the other side if you've done it one by one. All right. All right. Then from here, we'll turn it around. We'll just bring the bum down to the floor and we'll start doing the calf muscles. So for this one, it's the same thing. You could do both legs at a time, or you could do one leg at a time and just cross the other leg over top. So you've got a bit more weight on it and it might feel more intense and more beneficial to you. So depending on also how much you can deal with, you can play around with just letting that bottom leg be loose, hanging like this. I feel like it's kind of nice, even though when you think of the tissues, it also makes sense sometimes to stretch it out first and before you actually roll in there. Just thinking of ironing some clothing, right? If you just keep your clothing all wrinkled and then you iron over top of it, it's not really beneficial. So sometimes, not so much in the calf muscles I find personally, but in other parts of our body, it's really helpful and actually necessary to kind of straighten and stretch out the body part that we are about to roll, in order to actually really get there where we want to go. Here in that case, it's probably too much muscle holding back. So yeah, you'll see, you'll find your way. You can go a bit side to side. If you find a spot, you can also stay there for a moment. So this is free flow basically, and you can't really do much wrong. Also here in the bottom part, close to the Achilles tendon, you can roll, give it some release. And I really do like, almost like pointing that foot here, which is interesting because I always preach not to do that. But yeah, just shows there's not only one way to be doing things. The most important thing is that you are doing this. Sometimes it's just nice to know some different kinds of techniques. You can also roll all the way up now, so you can go behind the knee for just a moment and then take that roll to the back of your legs. Sometimes I even like it to, I don't want to get off frame here, but to sit on it and lean forward, or maybe use both and just get a little bit higher up here on the tendon. So that's one option. Now we get into the interesting stuff. So from here, I'm gonna place I'm doing the right side, right? I'm gonna place the right hand all the way behind, and I'll turn, so I'm on the outer side of my bum cheek, and then I'll just step, and that's like one of the points that you should remember. You just step the other leg over top, so you got something to push into, okay? And then from here, it's almost like, I call it a little plate here. We want to be in this area on the side of your pelvis first. And you can just roll up and down here along the muscle fibers. And I'm pretty sure you'll be finding some nice little spots just there. You can also, after doing that a few times, you can go sideways, so you go perpendicular to the muscle fibers, front and back, just leaning and dipping your pelvis forward and back. And then we'll move on and we'll go all the way alongside the outer part of our right thigh. So we'll roll up and down. Again, I'm using my left leg as a pusher. Both of my hands are on the floor in this case. And then you'll see, but if you lean your body a little bit forward here, you come a bit more to the outer quadriceps part, and oftentimes here is a lot happening. So you can feel those gluey spots, and actually 3/4 down towards the knee is a point that is in the books that is called a trigger point, and that carries a lot of tension. And it's really nice to just stay there for a bit, even though it's really uncomfortable. I really say this is the most uncomfortable part of rolling and releasing on those tools. So once you've got that, you can turn around all the way again, bring both hands on the mat, and then just step like lizard pose. Bring that left foot to the front left side, and then maybe even come down onto your hands if that feels right. And you can roll the front of your thigh. You can roll all the way high up here in your groin where all the tendons are, or you can go further down towards the knee. And here also play around with either bringing your heel towards the bum or extending that leg, and just see how that feels for you. If that feels actually really uncomfortable, you can also bring that knee down and roll like this. So there is a lot of variations here. And you kind of have to find out what works for you. I'm just giving options. All right. Good, once you've had that, we'll turn all the way back around, and I would do the other side. Okay, so you can stop this video and then just try to remember what we've done so far and recall it, because oftentimes we gotta do these things in order to make them stuck, right? So other side, now starting with the backs of our calves, backs of our legs, and then turning it all to the side, to the front, and then we're back here. All right, once we're here, we're sitting on, on the roll, and I'll bring both hands back, and we'll start by the right bum cheek, and we'll just go up and down here, right bum. So I'm still underneath my lower back. And if you just think of your pelvis is almost like a butterfly shape. So right along that bone here that is like a wing, right underneath, we got those sticky spots sometimes that just feels so good to be released, especially if you've had some acute back pain or something like that, right? So it's just so good to release the tension there. You know, we're in yoga, we're doing so much forward folding, we're doing so much stretching, but it doesn't always mean that our muscles are strong at the same time. Sometimes they're tight because they're super weak. So this is part one of kind of getting pain in our backside body under control. It's like opening up the tissue, but then what's important is also to strengthen those parts of our body more. We'll get to that in a different video. So once you're here, you can even go to the middle part a little bit more, and then thinking of stretching the area first, we can bring that right leg over top of the left knee and then press that right knee down, and then roll again mid the bum cheek. So now we're getting the piriformis muscle, and that's the muscle that usually pinches our sciatic nerve and gives us that pain that a lot of people have already felt, I'm sure. So with that, you can press the right knee down like a figure four pose and then just roll it right in there. Sometimes people really love that. Sometimes people can't really feel the difference. So you just try that out for yourself again. Yeah, and then once you're there, we'll go a little bit higher up. So now I'll move over top of this pelvis bone and I'll drop down onto my right elbow. So starting to roll in this area of our lower back, which means over top of our pelvis and underneath of our ribs. So just right there in this QL area, the muscle that is kind of formed like a quadrant, like a square in our lower back. And I really like to do one side at a time here because you can really use your whole weight to dig yourself in there. Oftentimes when you have like a real pointy spot where you're like, it's right there, that's when you'd use the ball because you can get in more precisely. But for like a daily basis where you don't really have any issues, it's totally fine to just roll on a on a bigger surface level. So once you've got the hang of that and you feel like, yeah, that feels good now, you can move higher up towards your ribs. And actually when I'm usually doing the rib cage, I'll go both sides at the same time. So I'll center myself back on the roll, and then I'll hug my elbows over top of one another. I'll give myself a hug basically. So what I'm doing in that moment is I'm going to pull my shoulder blades apart from each other, and then I can dig right into our rhomboids. Sometimes it often like even gives it a little crack. I'm not going to do this so intensely now just for the sake of the mic, but I hope you know what I mean by giving yourself a hug. All right, so you can go slow, you can go a little bit faster. Sometimes the head gets a little tired, so that's when I just grab my head with both hands, and then again I'll pull my elbows towards one another. So I'll round my upper back, and as you can see, my bum here is lifted. And then make sure you're not straight up rolling towards your cervical spine. You'll stop right there, top of the shoulders, and maybe lean one side and the other. All right, so you can move all the way back down again, and then you'll find yourself sitting on that roll, and you'll go straight for the other side. You'll just lean over onto your left bum, and then just start the rolling, the releasing, the enjoying. Yeah, another moment for you to just recapture and try to remember all the spots that we went, the techniques that we took, and yeah, I think this is it for now today. Just keep it rolling, keep exploring. Just make sure that you're not tensing up anything else. And sometimes when you find a spot, just explore it even more. Maybe stay, give it a soft little back and forth, and yeah. What else to say? Enjoy the ride. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the mat next time. Namaste.